I would like to talk to you very briefly about making the transition from having met someone that you believe that you could possibly like long term and making the transition from perhaps dating this person to something a little more meaningful, perhaps something that involves the word commitment. Have you ever been in a situation where you met someone and you thought that you liked this person quite a bit, but you didn't know a whole lot about this individual? Um, and it's because you didn't know very much that you thought you liked them, because as you got to know them better, you begin to like them less. This is what I refer to as the still single or single again cycle. It's the inability to recognize those traits and characteristics early on to where you don't find yourself spinning your wheels or wasting time with situations and scenarios that actually will never pan out for you in the long run. I ask a question about some topics that you guys might want to discuss, and just about everyone or the majority of people checked communication or communication skills. And I want to just say this really quickly about communication skills. It's not about your ability to talk or your ability to listen per se, but it's mostly about your ability to pay attention. To be able to pay attention to those transitionable qualities and or characteristics, and to pay attention to those qualities and characteristics and or behaviors that will not translate or transition into a long-term relationship of commitment. I like to use the example of the child who did not like the green vegetables on the plate, the spinach, the green peas, or the green beans. You remember. The child would push the vegetables away, and later on in life, you find this now adult eating those very items that he did not prefer as a child. But after gaining a certain degree of maturity, the individual changed either his taste and or desire for the very things that he did not prefer as a child. Have you ever watched anyone eat a sandwich to where they would tear the pieces or the edges of the bread off of the sandwich before biting the sandwich? Or sometimes they go as far as to maybe take away an item, the pickle or the tomato or something like that. There are some people who, if they eat a piece of chicken, they'll take the skin off of the chicken. That's dating. Dating is basically where you get to pick and choose the parts of the person that you like, and you can discard or more or less ignore, push away or cut away temporarily those characteristics and or behaviors, habits of the individual that you do not prefer. But then that's the difference between dating and being in a relationship of the highest commitment, marriage, where you don't get to tear away from the person. You have to take the whole sandwich. You have to take the whole meal, and you transition. You grow into either the taste and or the style of how that meal was presented, because you're not allowed to tear away from the person. You're actually making a commitment to the entire person. Now, this is what makes marriage different from dating, among other things, but marriage is the highest form of commitment, and I'm finding that people are having a difficult time making the transition from not being married or dating or seeing someone, making the transition into what is known as the highest form of commitment. How do you do that? Because at some point, you're going to want to be able to say, if you're single, you're going to want to be able to say that he's mine or she's mine. It's just in your nature to do that. I believe it was Johnny Taylor, who said, I feel sorry for any man out there who can't look around and say, this is my woman, leave my woman alone. You see, men are very territorial, so why then would you have a man in front of you or in your life that, well, quite frankly, does not want to say she's mine and give you the highest form of commitment? See, the question becomes, are you not having the conversation about the highest form of commitment because you think perhaps you can't make the transition or he can't make the transition? Marriage is a relationship. So if you're in a relationship anyway, marriage is a relationship. It is just a relationship whose status is the highest level of commitment. And when you have a conversation about the highest level of commitment, or if you cannot have that conversation, then that just about says everything that you need to know about the person that you're spending your time with. When you bring up the word marriage, if the response is as though you're spraying flea repellent, that's actually a good thing for you because it keeps you from wasting your time. You don't want to get into the cycle, the still single again cycle of allowing the individual to tear away parts of you that they don't necessarily prefer about you. If they can't transition and begin to embrace the entire portion, the whole you, that lets you know everything that you need to know. But you have to pay attention in order to see these things. Now, what makes you his, sister, it's your imperfections. It's easy to fall in love with you if everything, or to be around you and want to spend time with you if everything you do is right, if everything that you do is perfect, if all of your jokes are funny, or if you laugh at all of his jokes. That's easy to do. Anybody can be in your presence under those conditions. But it's those things that make you less than pristine, less than flawless. Those things are what makes you his when he does not tear or seek to tear away those things that are naturally a part of your nature. So when you say you're looking for a good man, are you saying that you're looking for a man who can bring to the table the highest level of commitment? If not, then you're looking for men who do not wish to bring that highest level of commitment because they are looking for you. If they don't have to commit, then you're who they're looking for, which that's a part of the still single again cycle. I don't call hashtag relationship hashtag marriage, because that's not what it's about. It's about being able to develop those skill sets that's going to get you what you really want deep down inside, and that is a relationship with the highest level of commitment. That's what you want. And I know that's true, so we don't really have to get into that. Now, if you don't want commitment, then you can't say that you're looking for a good man or that you're looking for a good woman, because what exactly then does that mean if the word commitment is not in there? All right, and finally, do you know how it sounds when you, sister, say that you're not looking for a relationship of commitment? I want you to stop down and think about how that sounds coming from you when you promote that you're not looking for a long-term commitment from the right man. Think about how that sounds. That's just not a good look for a young lady with a certain degree of standards, class, and dignity. Let's restore your value, and let's prefer that these brothers can have that conversation with you at some point. Otherwise, you're just probably better off if you just keep it moving. speaking of developing the skill sets to create the opportunity for the relationship that is not only long term, but it is of the highest form of commitment. That is what the hashtag relationships registry and form is designed to do. Help you and others who are single and those who are in relationships and probably already married to develop those skill sets that transition your relationship into something that is more that functions better, where there's better communication, where there's better understanding and patience and things like that. The things that have to be in place have to be developed in order for you to even have a chance at a long-term healthy relationship where the highest level of commitment is at the forefront. Remember, I'm only here to help because I want for you the same things that I want for myself. I want you guys to be healthy. I want you to be happy. I want you to live a life of longevity. I want you to be in a relationship with the highest level of commitment because I know that that's what you want for yourself. But above all these things combined, I wish upon you many, many blessings. I am looking forward to your response. Please stay tuned for those dates coming up this fall for hashtag relationships registry and forum. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys, your presence as well. So stay tuned. We're going to probably go back to back with this one. There's a lot of information I want to give you guys about making the transition. We're gonna have a part 2, and we should be able to get it all in 2 parts. My name is Jay Jackson.